What's up, crypto enthusiasts? Welcome back to Wise Staking. And today I'm very excited to present to you the Wise Ecosystem DeFi 2.0 white paper. So, also, in case you missed it, we released a Liquidity 2.0 white paper to explain about the upgrade of our liquidity model that we launched on Binance Smart Chain, that we will also launch on Casper, and that we use when anybody wants to partner with us, that allows people to pair their token with Wise token and take out 50% of the entire capital raise without changing the liquidity model at all. Anyways, that's a different video though. Today we are talking about the Wise token ecosystem. And I know it's easy for you to get lost in the weeds if you haven't checked in since you first staked Wise, or if you haven't been, having your ear to the ground, active on social media, and listening to what we have been building for the past year and a half. And that's what this video is for. We're going to explain the entire Wise ecosystem. So first of all, Wisesoft is creating innovative protocols such as liquid NFTs, lending and borrowing, which will generate revenue for the Owl DAO. So in case you weren't aware of what Wise is all about, Wise is an entire ecosystem of revenue-generating protocols like liquid NFTs, launching soon, and lending and borrowing, launching Q1 2022, that create revenue, and that revenue goes to the Owl DAO, which then gets distributed through governance back to the Wise stakers and 4 other places that we will see right here. So the Owl DAO is, this is the first time that we're talking about the Owl DAO, and that is our governance structure. That is what we are calling it. So we've always had it, but we haven't used it for anything because we haven't had revenue yet. We're going to go through all of that. This is mostly going to be an explanation of what our DAO structure is, how it's completely decentralized, and how it works for Wise token holders. So due to the decentralized nature of the ecosystem, any third party can launch products and protocols in the Wise ecosystem. So Wisesoft LLC, my company that I created, created the original Wise token, is creating these protocols, but anyone can create protocols in the Wise token ecosystem, and some people already are. So the Wise token ecosystem refers to the Wise token and all the protocols that utilize Wise or are in some way connected to Wise. And by the way, this link is in the description for you to go. Make sure you send us some claps. I would like more people to see our model. It is truly innovative and truly decentralized. And you're going to be very excited about the Wise ecosystem by the end of the video. I think it would be hard not to be. So this paper as well will be better understood if you already have read the Wise Teal paper, which is talking specifically about Wise token, and the Liquidity 2.0 paper, which is our upgraded liquidity model. So what is the Owl DAO? The Owl DAO is a fully decentralized positive feedback loop for the Wise ecosystem. Specifically, it's a decentralized smart contract that collects revenue streams from ancillary protocols in the Wise ecosystem and then distributes that revenue across 5 governance-controlled initiatives. These initiatives are, number 1, providing rewards for stakers. So this is the primary value driver of the Wise ecosystem. Higher APY on staking directly increases the demand for Wise, which drives up the price of Wise until reaching an equilibrium. As the revenue of the Owl DAO increases, this cycle will repeat. These rewards are sent back to the protocol each week to reward recipients in the underlying coin of the network, whether it's Ether, BNB, Casper, etc. So this is already happening on the Binance Smart Chain with WiseB. There's $30,000 of revenue designated for the stakers of WiseB, and you get an airdrop in BNB. So when this happens on Ethereum and Polygon, you'll be able to claim your rewards in Ether, and then on Casper, you'll be able to claim your rewards on Casper. So why haven't we talked about the Owl DAO if this is already in existence? Well, because our BNB raise on Binance Smart Chain, it was really small. There's a couple factors going into that. I've talked about that on other videos, but basically we only raised enough for working capital for the next year, basically, for Wise. But we decided to pay rewards anyway. So there's not, like, we don't have a big treasury on WiseB. However, the Casper launch will create a massive treasury, and also our other revenue generating protocols will build a treasury on all those different chains. So that's the primary purpose for the Owl DAO. That's where the lion's share of the revenue is going to. Number 2, buying and burning WISE tokens. So the WISE token, it has an inflation rate of 4% annually, with 3% going to stakers and 1% to referrers. Some of the revenue coming from the Owl DAO can be used to burn WISE such that the total supply remains static or even deflationary. So remember, the Owl is a DAO, meaning you can vote on these things. So depending on what the community wants, we can lock the supply of WISE such that for every WISE that's minted, we'll burn WISE by buying and burning it with revenue, or we could even make it deflationary. It's pretty much up to the community what the community wants to do. Of course, we need revenue to be able to do that, so that we're just starting to build some of that revenue. Number 3, funding the WISE grants program. So offering grants to projects who build in the WISE ecosystem. We're going to talk about this more down below. But basically, we would provide consulting services. We would provide developer support for a fair launch auction, just like WISE had. And then their tokens would be paired with WISE token. And then in doing so, that means that project has to, when they do their raise, they buy WISE with their raise because they need to pair with our token. That directly benefits the market cap of the entire WISE ecosystem, not just WISE holders, but everybody else who has paired with WISE as well. Asset management. So the ultimate goal for the Owl DAO, or at least my vision, that it is a DAO, so it's really dependent on the community. But my vision for the Owl DAO is that it becomes a big hedge fund, a big treasury that accumulates assets, and those assets grow exponentially over time, which allow the rewards and these first 2 things to be increased. And then lastly, the VIP program. So we know we have people that have stood out as VIPs because they've made donations to the legal opinion letter, or they've staked for a really long time. We want to make those people stand out. We want to actually pay them for being such wonderful, consistent members in the WISE token ecosystem. So these are the 5 things that the DAO can distribute to. And the community gets to decide kind of how much money should be going into each bucket. So here's a diagram of that. So you got the Owl DAO, you have liquid NFTs, lending and borrowing. We've got another protocol that I can't talk about yet because of NDA. Basically, every ancillary protocol that I'm building is generating revenue that goes back to the Owl DAO. Then the Owl DAO distributes it between staking rewards, buy and burn, VIP pool, WISE grants, and treasury management. And then the treasury management can also generate revenue. Just that's from being a hedge fund, investing in good projects that make money. And that revenue goes back to the Owl DAO as well. So the key to the Owl DAO is decentralization. Many projects have community-controlled treasuries called DAOs. However, in most cases, there are multi-sig wallets with all the power, admin keys, and backdoors that keep the system from being completely autonomous. Understandably, the centralized aspects of the DAO are usually there to protect the DAO from hostile takeovers and attacks. However, WiseSoft has built a robust 2-tiered governance system that can remain completely decentralized while also being protected by programmed checks and balances that keep the system safe from attack. So we're going to go into that. First of all, let's talk about the 2 parties in the Owl DAO. So there's 2 parties in the Owl DAO. The first is the WiseSoft LLC multi-sig wallet. So that's myself and the other members of the WiseSoft team are all in a Gnosis wallet, Gnosis multi-sig wallet, and that is the first party. And the other party are shareholders in the WISE ecosystem. And you become a shareholder when you stake WISE. The instant you stake WISE, you get shares. And the shares on your stake you can use to vote. Now, the key here is that neither of these parties have ultimate power because either one can veto the proposals of the other. This way, the community can block abuses of power, potential abuses of power by WiseSoft, and Ysoft can still thwart hostile community takeovers and attacks. This is more of like Ysoft being able to thwart hostile community takeovers and attacks is really a secondary thing. Like that shouldn't happen anyway, just because of the way the protocols are designed. But this is just an extra layer of protection. So what happens if you got people vetoing each other and just what if both parties veto each other, or one party just continues to veto and doesn't let anything go through? Well, in that case, in the case of a deadlock where both parties are blocking each other's proposals, the DAO continues to function as it did previously without adjustments. So unlike the USA government, that if people are in a deadlock, then the government just doesn't function and we could potentially have a government shutdown. That doesn't happen here, because remember, the Ysoft ecosystem is made up of smart contracts, autonomous smart contracts that are already pre-programmed, to act a certain way. So the proposals, so if there's a deadlock, then it just continues to work as it did before, no problems. So proposals can adjust preset parameters in the protocols, but no one proposal can cause the system to shut down entirely. That's important. So WISE is always going to work. Even if nobody can come to an agreement on governance votes, WISE is still going to work. Additionally, the Ysoft multisig only comes into play for core proposals that could potentially destabilize the ecosystem. Parameters that would have no potentially devastating effects on the ecosystem could be adjusted using community votes alone. So see more about our two-tiered ecosystem. We're going to talk more about that. It's in a couple paragraphs below. But basically, if we're just talking about adjusting certain things that couldn't have potentially devastating effects, it's just going to be a community vote. Like the WISE multisig wallet does not come into play. There's no veto power. It's just a yes or no vote. The majority shares vote wins. So preset parameters. So protocols built by Ysoft in the WISE ecosystem, such as liquid NFTs, lending and borrowing, etc., are coded with certain parameters that can be adjusted by the Owl DAO. So they're pre-made with these parameters. So we're building these protocols with the Owl DAO in mind. It is important to note that this interaction between contracts is completely decentralized. Revenue from liquid NFTs, for example, does not first go to a developer-controlled wallet, which then gets sent to the Owl DAO. No. So there's no third party. There's no, it comes to me first and then it goes to the Owl DAO. No, it goes straight to the Owl DAO. Does not pass go, does not collect $200, so to speak. The two contracts interact directly with each other without contact from third parties or centralized points of control. Being completely decentralized, however, does not mean the complete control of the WISE ecosystem. So understand that this governance is somewhat limited. Like you can't change anything you want. You can only change preset parameters and things that the code will allow you to change. So for instance, we talked about how no vote can ever shut down the protocol entirely. So there's some things that you can't do, but everything that you can do can be voted on. The Owl DAO can only adjust preset parameters. Some examples of parameters in liquid NFTs include the specific fee percentage charged for each loan in the system. When someone places down an NFT and wants to take out a loan, how much of that interest payments, like how much does the protocol take? That can be adjusted. And as well as the ratio of revenue going to the Owl DAO versus the developer wallet for payroll, maintenance, and customer support. So the Ysoft payroll, right now it's coming out of my pocket directly, but once we have revenue generating protocols, the payroll for Ysoft LLC will come out of either one or some of these revenue generating protocols. Now, conceivably, as these protocols like lending and borrowing and liquid NFTs become successful, gain traction, and grow, the revenue grows, and the percentage being taken for the dev wallet can decrease. And so basically what we're going to do is we're going to have a transparent budget. We're going to submit the budget, And then we're going to submit that with a proposal to decrease the amount of revenue that's coming to the dev wallet. So as profits increase, the percentage going to the dev wallet will decrease. And we're also coding it so that the dev wallet percentage can only decrease. So as it's ratcheted down incrementally, it can never go back up. And that's the way it's supposed to be. So eventually, once these protocols achieve smashing success, there'll only be 1% or less coming from these protocols that go to the dev wallet, and 99% will be all profits that go back to the Owl DAO. Other changes could be made without having preset parameters as well, but this is situationally dependent. One could submit a proposal, for instance, to switch from using Chainlink price oracles to a new set of oracles that didn't exist when the protocol was launched. So just depending on what it is specifically, you can make proposals for certain things that weren't thought of beforehand, that don't have preset parameters. It just kind of depends what it is. So that's preset parameters. Two-tiered proposal systems. So we alluded to this a little bit. So in contrast to most DAO systems, proposals in the Owl DAO do not consist of a decentralized voting system that must be acted on by an all-powerful dev team who must put the changes in motion. So that's not how things work. By the way, an example of that is the voting on PancakeSwap. So PancakeSwap has a decentralized voting system that's great, but then to enact those changes that somebody makes a proposal to enact those changes, like the devs still have to change it. The devs still have all the power to do whatever they want. So it's not fully decentralized, even though the voting portion of it is decentralized. The Owl DAO is 100% decentralized. So submitting a proposal is actually submitting code. So you are submitting a proposal that includes the code. And so any developer can do this. You can even ask the Ysoft team to create proposals for you. And when it's voted on, it just automatically just executes, because you are not voting on an abstract idea that doesn't have code behind it. You are voting on a piece of code. So the adjustable parameters in each protocol are designated either soft or core parameters. Each type warrants a different kind of proposal with a different rule set for voting. Core parameters are serious changes that can have effects on the protocol and sometimes even the greater ecosystem as well. Because of this, core proposals have stricter governance rules. To pass a core proposal, the Ysoft multi-sig wallet and also the community, the shares voting system, must have a majority yes vote. And then also each specific core parameter will have its own set of rules whether a supermajority is needed from either party. So core proposals designated by each ancillary protocol will have designated, hey, you can't just have a 51% vote. You need a 75% vote by the community for this one. Or you need a 75% vote from Ysoft multisig for this one. That is going to be predetermined. One example of a core proposal is adjusting the percentage of revenue that flows to each of the 5 initiatives in the Owl DAO, how much goes into each bucket. This would directly affect staking APY and the demand for Y. So that's a big deal. That's something where that could be vetoed by either party, and it's a core parameter that needs to be voted on, not only by the community shares voting, but also by Ysoft multisig wallet. How do shares work? So in case you're unaware, like I said before, you get shares by staking Ys. And the more Ys you stake, the more shares you get. But also the longer you stake, the more shares you get. So there's share bonuses for staking longer. And so the way it works is it's 5% more per year up to 5 years. So you stake for 1 year, that's an extra 5% shares. You stake for 5 years, that's an extra 25% shares. But the max is 30, so it falls off hard after 5 years, and then it's only an extra 5% more all the way up to 42 years. So it falls off hard after 5 years. However, if you have like a 10-year stake, for instance, after 5 years, you're having those shares that you got from 5 years ago. And by that, and share price is always going up because every time somebody ends a stake, share price goes up. So in the term of 5 years, share price would have gone up significantly. So even though you don't have a massive bonus after 5 years, in that time period, you will have a massive bonus compared to people who just started staking. So Genesis shares and shares started earlier, those are very, very powerful stakes. So what chains does the Owl DAO operate on? So the Owl DAO is meant to operate on all blockchains, but it has different treasuries for each variation of WISE token. So currently there are three varieties of WISE token: WISE on Ethereum, WISE on Binance Smart Chain, WISE C, so WISE E, WISE B, and WISE C on Casper. So each of they're each treated like separate businesses. And so, liquid NFTs on Ethereum is going to generate revenue for the WISE Ethereum token. And then liquid NFTs on Casper is going to generate revenue for YC tokens. So Wisesoft does not plan to launch any more versions of WISE token after the YC launch on the Casper network. There are plans, however, to expand the original WISE token across many other blockchains, including Polygon, which we're already on Polygon, at least the token is already on Polygon, Harmony, Solana, Avalanche, Polkadot, Cardano, and many others. Wisesoft will not create a new token on these chains, but the WISE ERC20 tokens will be bridged over. Staking contracts will be deployed on each side chain, and the staking rewards will be funded with the revenue from products deployed on that blockchain. The Solana WISE contract, for example, will reward stakers with airdropped revenue generated from liquid NFTs and the lending and borrowing contract deployed on the Solana network. Ethereum Layer 2 EVM-compatible blockchains, however, are different. They will pool their resources to create staking rewards. So that means that revenue made on the Ethereum blockchain and all Layer 2 EVM-compatible blockchains, that is, Polygon, ZK rollups, Optimism, all those, that's all Ethereum. So that Owl DAO will be one and the same. Let's get into this a little more, actually. So revenue made on Ethereum and Polygon, for instance, will reward WISE stakes on Polygon. So the revenue made from Ethereum, Polygon, all EVM compatible blockchains, layer 2s of Ethereum, sorry, not separate blockchains, but layer 2s of Ethereum, that revenue is going to be pooled, and then the rewards are going to be mostly rewarding on Polygon, and then eventually, ZK rollups and Optimism when they have their ecosystems built out. The reason for that is because Ethereum gas fees. So we want to incentivize people that their stakes are ending on Ethereum to restake on a layer 2, like Polygon, for instance. And so we are going to, mostly divert the revenue to rewarding stakes on Polygon. Now, if you created a stake on the WISE Ethereum blockchain that's, years long in 2021, then those will qualify for rewards. You are just going to claim those rewards on the Polygon blockchain. So you will be getting airdrops. You're just going to have to claim them on the Polygon blockchain because we don't want to waste gas for people. Now, however, if you're making a stake on the Ethereum blockchain in 2022 or later, then those will not earn airdrop rewards unless the Owl DAO votes on it. And the reason they will not receive rewards originally is because we want people to save gas. We want to incentivize staking on Polygon. And two, because the WISE Ethereum staking protocol is the only protocol that actually mints new WISE. And so there's a potential, as our ecosystem explodes, that WISE token can go up in price quite a bit as our ecosystem expands. And WISE on Ethereum is the only place where you're actually earning newly minted WISE. And so even though it may not have airdrops, there could potentially be a time period where it's still more profitable to stake on the original WISE on the Ethereum blockchain. So that is definitely possible, and it will always reach an equilibrium, because if one is more profitable, then people are just going to arbitrage that and stake where it matters the most. So let's go over differences in the Wise token ecosystem, because we have had several upgrades to the protocol as we've deployed on different blockchains, and I just want people to be super clear on how this works. So the Wise staking contract on Ethereum is a Liquidity 1.0 version integrated with Uniswap. This includes the Wise insurance contract. So we have a staking contract and a Wise insurance contract, which is a protocol that lowers the penalty for ending stakes early to 10%. On Binance Smart Chain, WiseB is a Liquidity 2.0 version of the token with 2 liquidity pairs. So if you're not familiar with that, please do read our Liquidity 2.0 white paper. That is also linked below. So that's different. It's an upgrade from the Ethereum 1.0 liquidity pair. WiseB also has an insurance staking contract. YC on Casper will be a Liquidity 2.0 version, just like WiseB, but it will not have the Wise insurance contract. Instead, the staking contract will include the ability to change the ownership addresses of a stake. This will allow a secondary marketplace to form, eliminating the need for reduced penalties on ending stakes, because instead of just having a reduced, needing to end your stake and just taking a reduced penalty, instead you'll just sell that stake on the secondary market. On Casper and Polygon, so Polygon is this way as well, where you can sell your stake on the secondary market, and all future Wise staking contracts that are deployed on other blockchains that are extensions of Wise, they will use this upgraded version. So the Polygon blockchain and all subsequent blockchains will have the latest Wise staking contract and will use Wise, that's WiseE, bridged over Ethereum. Additionally, liquid NFTs, lending, and borrowing, and any future protocols in development will also be deployed on subsequent blockchains as extensions of the Ethereum Wise token. So the Wise Launchpad and partner programs. Now this is huge right here. If you haven't listened to anything up to this point, this one is a really big one. So Wise is a financial scaling solution for Ethereum, backed by a pool of Ether, but with a much smaller market cap compared to Ether. This presents a unique opportunity for other projects to join the Wise ecosystem by pairing their token with Wise instead of Ether for the initial liquidity formation. This action integrates them into the Wise ecosystem, where their token can maintain price exposure to Ether while also being part of a market cap that is a fraction of the size of Ether and has the potential to expand more rapidly. Also, you have the safety of the price floor in Ether as well. So joining the Wise ecosystem in this way, you have limited downside risk versus Ether and unlimited upside potential. That is the idea. As the revenue generation protocols in the Wise ecosystem grow, and as more protocols pair their token with Wise, every project in the Wise ecosystem will directly benefit. A rising tide raises all ships. So anybody who does this liquidity pairing, especially the ones who like the first half a dozen that do it first, are going to benefit the most, because they're going to get in first, and then they get the benefits of not only everything Wisesoft is doing by creating all these protocols, but also the other projects that join help everybody in the Wise token ecosystem, directly affecting their market cap when you purchase Wise and pair that Wise with your liquidity in the way it's described. So because of the immediate and lasting effects of a new protocol choosing to pair with Wise, Wisesoft has created a token launch package for protocols that wish to partner. This is first going to happen with Praise, and then we have a few other ones lined up as well. This package includes the contracts for a 50-day fair launch auction, the Liquidity 2.0 upgrade, which pairs the token with Wise and allows 50% of the raise to be used as working capital for the team. So this is important right here. So the Wise 2.0 liquidity model is a model where you can have the safety of a price floor versus Ethereum. You can have massive liquidity, and the team will be able to take 50% of whatever's raised in the 50-day auction as working capital. That is huge. Those two things together are very, very powerful. In addition to that, a fully functional Web3 interface, website, and strategy consulting services to facilitate a smooth launch. So this is what we are offering other protocols who want to integrate with Wise token in the Wise ecosystem. So first, these services must be purchased. This is because the first several protocols that opt in will be joining an ecosystem on the ground floor, benefiting the most. But as the Wise ecosystem grows, these services will become free. Eventually, this launch package will become part of a claimable grant where protocols can opt in to get paid for joining the ecosystem. So the first few have got to pay. Pretty soon it's going to become free. Probably sometime in 2022 it's going to become free, and after that it'll be a grant. So we'll actually pay people to join the ecosystem, because every time that happens, it directly increases every single market cap in the Wise token ecosystem. Wise token and everyone connected and paired with Wise token. So that means that everyone else has an interest in other people joining, which is huge. So imagine by the end of 2022, if we have a grant program where we pay protocols $1 million to come and use our services, you have a 50-day auction and pair their token with Wise. That's absolutely something that's possible. Of course, we will vet every single candidate. We can't just have every scammy project taking $1 million to just do this thing. Like, they have got to be a good vetted projects, but this is absolutely something, the grants program, that could be active by the end of 2022, if not earlier. In conclusion, the Wise ecosystem is designed to be the fairest and most equitable ecosystem in DeFi. Through a series of nonprofit endeavors, Wise LLC is creating the infrastructure that will facilitate long-term adoption and expansion. But a successful ecosystem needs a strong community and many developer teams to back it. The aim is for others to build helpful and innovative products in the Wise token ecosystem. This is already happening with third-party websites like wiseinfo.io and partners like Praise Token. So we can't do it alone. We need you. We need the community. We need people like Praise Token. We need other protocols. We need developers to get on board with what we're doing and help us make this the greatest DeFi ecosystem in existence. The Wise community must continue to educate others on the necessity of decentralized finance. The growth of the Wise community continues to stem from trusted word of mouth and innovative technologies rather than impersonal paid marketing schemes. We've paid a lot for marketing, but what we've seen that has worked has been word of mouth. It's been you guys talking to your family members, your loved ones, and sharing the word. Also, our referral program helps a lot as well. So, we're going to continue to improve upon that. But really, it's all about the community. It's all about you. If we are going to be a success, the community is a really big part of it. So please be active and take part and get excited in what we're doing. We at WiseSoft are ecstatic with the success of the ecosystem thus far and look forward to creating a bright and equitable future together. Authored by me, founder and CEO of WiseSoft LLC, and there is our email contact and website. So thank you so much for watching, guys. Please share this video. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Give this article some claps as well, and I will see you in the next video.